radically different body language we saw from Phil Taylor to what we saw last week against Peter Snake by Wright.
It was, Dave. I mean, all the way up he's looking more confident, he's looking more bubbly, more aggressive. You know, what he's lost in his game is that aggression. He's got to be on the front foot. He tends to let things happen. And Phil Taylor's never done that before in his career. He's a little bit off with his own confidence in his ability. What he's got to do, these first two legs are going to tell. If Phil can get into Simon and hit those doubles, then I think we'll see a good performance from Phil.
As he right, he faced Adrian Lewis, he faced Michael van Gerwen, three form players in world darts.
And he threw 101 average against Peter Wright, so it weren't a bad performance. But when we look at Phil Taylor at the bottom of that league, along with Simon Whitlock, that's not where we think he's going to be or should be. And that's when a little bit of doubts come into his own head, so he's got to turn this form around and get a win on the board. Judgment night in Cardiff, week 9, is going to be interesting, particularly if it involves a certain Mr. Taylor. It's going to be extremely interesting. We all thought that he'd be in the top 4, no question. But now he's fighting, well, some people will say for his career. I think it's just another blip in his career, but he's got a lot to do, and tonight's got to start it. Pressure time for both players. Who will cope best in front of 10,000 here at the Hydro in Glasgow? Your commentators, Wayne Mardle and Nigel Pearson.
A massive match in the history of Premier League darts. Phil Taylor, to an extent, has seen this before. 2008, 3 defeats in his opening 4 games, and he went on to win that year against James Wade in the final. There are still many people who believe the greatest of them all can still go all the way despite a run of 3 straight defeats. But he has to get it right on the night here in Glasgow.
Well, Dave Clark and Rod Harrington said they'd noticed the change in Phil's body language. Well, we did in here as well, Nige, didn't we? He was dancing, Phil Taylor was dancing to Simon Whitlock's Walk On tune. Simon was walking on, joining in. Looked like he didn't have a care in the world. Pointless. Phil Taylor is pointless. Will he end that way? Will Simon make a point? 2. We've all heard the phrase, too good to go down, haven't we?
How Whitlock would dearly love to get off the mark with the first leg, and what a time to hit your first 180. Got this leg under control already to hold his throw.
Last year, Phil Taylor lost 3 out of the first 9. Judgment night is after 9 weeks. So if he can steady the ship,
47.
Who knows? What we do know is that if Phil Taylor plays his best darts, he wins.
The cut-off for the top 8 last year was 7 points.
90.
And whoever loses this will have no points from 4. And we'll have 5 weeks left. Really, you need 8 points as Whitlock looks for the first leg on the board. And there's no margin for error after tonight for the loser, that's for sure.
54.
But Taylor, uncharacteristically, not even on the finish.
It's those 5s again, I'm afraid. Been the bane of his life for the last 3 weeks at least.
58.
Just not throwing the dart with the authority that Phil Taylor normally does. Double 5. Now, it's the same story for that man. Cannot seem to get his nose in front any week. Played Van Gerwen. Van Gerwen was magnificent, we know that. Couldn't get in front. Lewis, then Peter Wright, again behind.
This is a big leg of darts for Phil Taylor. Has to hold his throw. There's pressure on already in field, which is a remarkable scenario when you consider the great man's achievements. And Whitlock matches him now. Is Taylor feeling the heat? Nice use of the lie here. Can he fill it up?
Well, the inconsistency of Phil Taylor I just find mind-boggling. all over the shop in the first leg, struggling to put 3 darts in the same segment, let alone the same bed.
140.
Now at 140, 180. If history is anything to go by in the Premier League between these two, Simon Whitlock cannot win this match. 2010, he'll beat Simon 8-3, 8-5. 2011, 8-3, 8-5. Then beat him in the final 2012 after beating him 8-4, 8-3. Basically, they're hidings.
Pressure on Taylor to take this now. Double 16 to level. 1 leg apiece, gets there. That was a big leg for Taylor to win.
It was the way he done it as well. No messing. You see Phil there, punching the air with delight. 13, double 16, no dramas. Now, Phil, the jump in and break. Let's not forget, Simon Whitlock has been struggling massively. Oh, we're witnessing the start of a power surge. Does he still have a surge? We haven't seen it in a while.
Good darts from Simon Whitlock. Now, can Taylor follow up that impressive first visit?
Well, you see the difference in the 2 throws. The 177 was thrown aggressively with a kind of want behind it. But those 3 were kind of plonked in. They weren't thrown, they were just released. What must be so frustrating for Phil Taylor is that he knows more than anyone what he has to do, but sometimes your brain just will not allow you to do so.
137.
So, 5 games left for these two to save their Premier League campaign after tonight.
43.
Although the cut-off was 7 points last year, you have to really work on 8 as a safety cushion. So, the loser is looking really at 4 wins out of 5, which is a tall order by anybody's standards to survive in the Premier League.
Phil Taylor won the last leg in 14 darts. He's on a 13 darter now.
86.
And more importantly, for a break of throw.
Big moment, no problem. Taylor leads. 2-1, break of throw. Can he hold his throw now for a 3-1 cushion? This is a massive, massive game in the Premier League. First time he's taken the lead in 4 weeks of Premier League darts.
Last 2 legs have been delightful from Taylor. The tops that he threw with the authority that we'd have expected, and the 136 to start. The points are entering the ball with a force, and you can't just release the darts nowadays. You've got to throw them like that.
That first dart is working nicely for him this week, apart from that first leg. Second 180 to the power!
Phil Taylor's back. You've got to say it. How can you average 113? Okay, it's only over 3 legs, but hold on. Lost the first 3 weeks, had no confidence at all. Playing one of the best players in the world, and you can dominate them.
Over 10,000 here at the Hydro in Glasgow, this brand new venue, and what a venue it is. The 10,000 plus about to witness the launch of the Phil Taylor comeback trail in the Premier League.
Well, he's definitely got a bit of the Mardle drift, there's no doubt about that. It's not a bad thing, Phil. Looks like a lot of 135s.
59.
Now, treble 18, double 16 for a 3-1 lead for the Power. Gets the treble, first time of asking. Double 16 for 3-1. How's it looking? Oh, gets there. Nicely done from the Power. 3-1 he leads here. And a punch of delight. I think he means business, Wayne.
It's nice to see aggression. Phil Taylor has had no reason to show any aggression the previous 3 weeks because it's all been going wrong for him. Now he's in front. Wants to just run riot, rampage through this game and consign Simon Whitlock to a pointless situation after 4 weeks. And Simon himself is struggling majorly as well.
The way Whitlock threw that last dart so quickly was one of frustration. 2 180s so far for the Power.
140.
There's plenty of room for a third. Playing a lot better though, it's fair to say. Whitlock has to hold his throw here.
133.
Phil's double hitting has been great. That's why he's 3-1 up. Well, really should have switched on the second dart. Poor thinking from Taylor. May just go for a ton here. Well, treble 19 for the ball. Will he go bullseye? I can't believe he will.
100.
I don't see the value at all in not just hitting a straight ton.
Well, the fact that Phil hit a straight ton on his last visit left him without a finish. Now just looking to put some pressure on Whitlock. Double 16 is the target. Big moment for Whitlock, has to hold his throw here. Gets there, lovely second dart. Wasn't sure whether he may have caused himself problems with the first. But he holds his throw. Still work to do for the Power.
Normally, we would say 3-2 up. Phil would just go on and win it. Averaging 105. I've just seen frailties since the start of this Premier League. Are they disappearing before our very eyes? Will he dismantle Simon Whitlock and just kick on from there, win the Premier League, go on and win everything else?
99.
But that was something that's been discussed a lot when you talk about the start to the Premier League that Phil's made. You look at the year that he had last year, Wayne, and such a wonderful, wonderful year on a great run. And it is hard to believe that you become a bad player overnight, certainly when you've been the greatest of them all. And certainly he's still the man everybody wants to watch. No doubt about that.
He's still the most special talent that darts has ever produced. And one of the best sportsmen, most successful sportsmen this country's ever produced.
This Premier League is such an exciting lineup, of course, and you want to watch every match is spectacular. Taylor, no doubt, still up there as the headline act, one of the headline acts, but everybody wants to see Taylor in action.
It will be nice, it will be something that I'll listen to intently if Phil Taylor wins this match. What he says has been the reason for a slump in form. There has to be a reason. You don't just go off the boil, whether it's a confidence crisis or not. 105.86 average. If he is suffering with a confidence crisis, he's hiding it very, very well.
Whitlock switches down. Yeah, quite clearly. 105.86, so much better. And he's hitting that first treble much, much better than he has been. He's switching down here again.
139.
He is in a tidy bit of form now, Phil Taylor. Another break against Whitlock. And the Australian will be in a spot of bother. Taylor 2 legs away from his first Premier League point of the year.
Yeah, and it's the way that he seems to be doing it. Still having the odd slack dart. But he is human, he is a dart player, he's bound to miss at times. 80%. That's the difference this week in Phil Taylor.
94.
Magnificent. Look at that. That's what the Premier League's about. That's what darts on Sky Sports is all about. That's wonderful.
So is this from Taylor. Hat-trick of 180s from the professor of his profession, Phil Taylor.
I don't know what all the fuss was about. He was never in any slump. This is ridiculous.
100.
He was playing well. He's getting beat, that's all. What one game can do, though, it can turn a whole career. Another one. Well, he's going for another one to leave double 11. I remember the turning point in Michael van Gerwen's career. He beat Simon Whitlock at the match play in 2012, hit a 9-darter, played magnificently. From there, goes on, world champion, world number 1, blah, blah, blah.
78. Phil require 32.
Double 16 for a second break of throw. Big moment for the power, no problem. 5-2 he leads, and Taylor is in command of this match for the first time in this Premier League campaign.
Well, I can guarantee that I know what Simon Whitlock is thinking right now. He's thinking a Kevin Painterism, and that is, how's your luck? He's walked into it, simple as that.
100.
For those of you who don't know, Kevin Painter says how's your luck quite a lot.
Former Premier League player Kevin Painter made a fine impression on the big stage as well. Acquitted himself superbly. Fine finisher as well, Kevin Painter. One of the best finishers in the game. But this man, Taylor, back in business.
100.
And they are going in the board much, much better. You can see forcibly Taylor is much more like his old self.
100.
Phil has the power. It's back. 106.79 average. The first dart just keeps finding the treble 20 bed.
137.
How many hours of practice per day has Taylor been putting in, do you reckon, between Premier League matches? You know what he's like when he loses, straight back on the practice board.
I'd assume he's been pummeling the 60 in practice indeed.
With anger.
With anger. He'd be angry at that, only leaving 100, but just thinking about the whole event. 4-1 for the Championship, 4-1 for the Premier League. If Phil Taylor wins this, he will not be that by the end of the night, I can guarantee you that. The bookies will be running scared, thinking that this man may qualify. Tops for 6-2. Well, he did go for tops, I can assure you.
16.
Now an opportunity for Whitlock to keep his hopes alive with a break back. Bull he needs. What a finish! He's not done yet! The wizard with a bit of magic, and he still puts a bit of pressure on the power, who's still got a little bit of work to do to get over that finish line. Full credit, Simon Whitlock.
Well, before that bullseye went in, Phil would have been thinking, right, come on, I look like going 6-2 up here. And within the blink of an eye, if Simon Whitlock can have 3-6-9 great darts here, it's 5-4. This can turn around quickly. Well, the first two were thrown really poorly. There's no doubt about that. From looking majestic one throw, looks meek the next.
Still got some work to do, and credit this guy. Top class player, and whilst a lot of talk has naturally been about Phil's run of defeats, Simon Whitlock, we know what a top player that guy is, and the fact that he's pointless as well has been a major surprise, although he has had that health issue, of course. But he is a better player than his Premier League form has suggested so far.
Simon not doing an awful lot in this leg. 181.60.
85.
You see the wince from Phil. He knew the minute he released it, it didn't have the oomph to get there. Always struggling.
Yeah, a bit of frustration creeping in for the Power. I mean, he would have loved to have got this job done as quickly as possible, and now he's still got plenty to think about and work to do to get over that finish line.
Brilliant cover shooting from the Power. We haven't seen one of these in this year's Premier League. Are we going to see one? 60-60 bullseye. Oh, Simon.
Chance for Taylor to pounce.
Got to go below the 60 or in. Cannot go above. Well, treble 19 double.
Can't believe it, can he?
It's just poor, and Phil knows it. Any professional dart player wants 100. He knows that you cannot deviate. You cannot go left or right. Have to throw straight.
Double 8 for Whitlock. Oh, dear.
That may be the spot of luck that this man needs.
Tops for a break of throw. This is a big dart now. Pressure on this one. No problem. And Phil Taylor is assured of his first Premier League point of the campaign.
Phil Taylor is literally no longer pointless. He won't just want the one, though, will he? He's going to try to fill it up. He fills the bed.
140.
Well, the 140 will do nicely anyway. Simon Whitlock will be so frustrated over that. Taking out his anger on the treble. 20! 2 180s for Whitlock.
It was slightly unfortunate from Simon. Just the wrong side of the double 8 wire and bust it. Phil
140.
trying to finish this match off with as least fuss as possible.
4 perfect darts.
100.
That's not enough, and Simon knows it. It's effectively a leg of 2-2-1, with Phil having the throw. I'd fancy him all day long from there.
Especially with darts like these.
139.
Well, I did say I fancy him after he hit the first 60, in all honesty.
Whitlock has shown glimpses, but if he is going to go on and lose this game now, he's really going to need 4 wins out of the next 5 weeks. Taylor, 82 he needs. He's hit the ball, double 16 for his first win of the Premier League. And Phil Taylor is off the mark. His winless run is over. The Power is back, and in with a great chance of extending his stay in the Premier League. Whitlock's in trouble now, but the Power has bounced back with a 7-3 win over Simon Whitlock.